Good morning, guys. It's J Arius the Aquarius with my Relatable Revival. And this morning I want to continue my Saturn series, and I want to talk about Saturn in Cancer. And this will also apply if you have Saturn in Cancer, Saturn in the 4th house, maybe even apply if you have Saturn moon aspects, or let's say you have maybe like Capricorn or Aquarius over the 4th house. So this can be growing up quick. This can be a crisis with females or your mom. This can manifest as a lot of responsibility in the home. Was put on you at a young age. So this is like a hard signifier of being parentified, having a lot of responsibility put on your shoulders, from your family. You could have a very traumatic, difficult childhood. You could have had a lot of family issues going on. There's a lot of psychological, deep issues because we're talking about Cancer in the 4th house here. So this is basically our conditioning and our programming growing up. So there could be a lot of psychological, deep issues around that. You could have been around like either unkind parents, parents probably didn't have any parental figures at all, maybe, or your parents could have been strict. It could have been more as a do as I say, not as I do type of relationship with your parental figures. So parents that were hard on you and they had high expectations and they had they put a lot of responsibility on you at a young age. So these people, there's going to be a scarring around the childhood, even talking about it, thinking about it. There's more likely a lot of deep psychological wounds and scars going on here. And that's your lessons, and you'll experience a lot of limitations and restrictions with it. I also noticed that with the 4th house Saturn, Cancer Saturn, Saturn moon aspects, these people can feel like they were set up to fail. And it could definitely feel that way because, in a sense, they more likely could have been, quote unquote, like their birth chart could have been set up, not really in a good light. So this is inheriting karmic lessons from your ancestors. We all inherit karmic lessons from our ancestors that we don't even know about. It can go as far back as 7 generations back, I think. That's how it goes. But these people, a big theme in their life and a big lesson, again, some restrictions, limitations towards what they want to achieve and stuff, they can just feel like, a lot of things happens to them, or they can feel like they have a destined, fated life. Like, why is this happening to me? Why am I always being scapegoated? Why am I always being around wolves in sheep's clothing? You know what I mean? So they could have grown up poor. You could have grown up poor. You could have grown up like, living off the government. There's nothing wrong with that at all, by the way. I'm just going to say that. Could have grown up poor, but your needs could have always been provided for. Or like, let's say, your family was strict. They had money. Your parents were selfish. They made sure that you and your brother had clothes, shoes, food, a pot to piss in, and a place to lay your head. But when it comes to like love, nurturing somebody, that's kind of up in the air. It's not happening. So there's a lot of inner child healing needed here. And inner child healing is just crucial, important, period in life, to get through and to really thrive and to heal. But inner child is going to be like hyphened here, like highlighted here. Your inner dialogue is going to be so important. So you're going to have lessons not to let your shame become your pride. So these people can become very shameful from what's projected onto them, for things they've been through, things they've had to endure. These people can carry a lot of weight on their shoulders, you know what I'm saying, from the past. Basically, that book, The Body Keeps the Score, these people can definitely benefit from reading that because, you know what I'm saying, growing up, some way and somehow there was some kind of trauma going on, or if there wasn't a traumatic childhood, there's some kind of deep mother wound here, or with females. So there could be a lesson. So again, not to let your shame become your pride. These people, and this is coming from a fourth houser, and I also have Capricorn and Aquarius ruling over my fourth house. Well, I have Capricorn ruling over my fourth house in Vedic, and then Aquarius in my tropical. So either way, I have a Saturn fourth house. So I totally relate with all of this. So you can feel like you're to blame for it all. Anytime something goes bad, anytime something just doesn't work out, even if something doesn't go your way, you could just feel like, damn, like I'm doomed. What the fuck did I do? Like, your mind can immediately go there. Cancer also has to do with high emotions, you know, intense emotions, and low, like high highs and low lows of emotions. So you're depressed with who raised you and how they raised you. You know what I'm saying? You could feel disappointed when you look back at your parents. When you look back at the authoritarian figures, you could just kind of be disappointed in general, like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I feel like someone failed me, right? And that's where that inner child healing comes in, because as you get older, you'll understand that, you know, as sick and twisted as the world is and as hard as it can be, when we get to a certain age, it kind of becomes our responsibility and our duty to heal these things, you know, as hard as it is. And as unfair as it is, that certain things happen to us that we don't want to. You know what I'm saying? So, again, you could have come from like a disciplinary home, strict home, could have been raised really militant. Where there was more rules than love, feeling responsible for taking care of your loved ones. Again, like growing up, you could have been parentified. You could have maybe even had to step up as like a motherly figure, a motherly role towards somebody, or you may feel obligated, because Saturn has to do with obligations. So even if someone wasn't like, you know, this is what you're going to do now, you know what I'm saying, you know, inside you might have felt like obligated to, you know, kind of step up or take the lead for others around you. And, you know, these people are going to be very caring people, very caring. They're going to, you know, care about everything. And, you know what I'm saying, like, they're going to care about, like, you know, how you feel about them, how they're perceived. They're going to care about, you know, how what they say made you feel. They're going to think about it before they say it, because they've been there. They know how it feels to feel like shit, really. So these people can have careers and do great with like nursing, real estate, mental health, cooking, you know, anything to do with the psyche, healing. Sorry guys, I dropped you guys, but it's important for them to establish a home life. Okay, there can be lessons with being defensive and territorial. And so like when these people were younger, they didn't really have a home life. They didn't have anything really stable, you know, or if they did, it didn't feel secure. It wasn't both. It wasn't safe and secure. It was, you know, either or neither. So when they get older, or as they grow, they can become defensive of what they accumulate, of, you know, who they love, what they love. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like they've worked hard, or they've been through enough, and with this person or with the situation, that they deserve it, or, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, that's theirs. There could be lessons around, again, racism, nationalism, and around culture. You know, me being like half white and half black, I've definitely, you know, I feel like just not only making it about a color thing, but, you know, this also doesn't help in my chart, but I've definitely experienced a lot of racism, you know what I'm saying, and not just from one race, but from multiple races, you know what I'm saying. This thing is not just a black and white war. It's not like that. So these people can be, you know, the types where They can go out on a tread or a limb for who they love, their territory, their property, their home. Just don't fuck with it. Don't fuck with them. Don't tread on them. Don't tread on who they love. And you should be left alone, really. So it could be a lot of past recall to learn and grow from situations, inner child healing. People are super caring. Again, these people are going to be super caring because there was that void from when they were younger where they didn't get that care. So they can be overbearing even at times. So domestic matters are going to be very important for them. And their happiness is going to be rooted in basically their family and domestic matters and affairs. So again, like if growing up you had a really bad family and domestic life, you know what I'm saying? You're probably going to be bad depressed. You're going to have a lot of trauma in your body, you know, that needs to be healed, and it can be healed, and there is hope. I'm really speaking to myself here too, but there's lessons of being too guarded, and it can make you be perceived or come off as defensive. But these people are not like, I mean, they could definitely be defensive because that's crab. That's the crab. That's the Cancer energy. But these people are more of so guarded. Okay, they don't let others in easily. Saturn here wants you to share your feelings, but they want you to be careful with who you let in your life. People can make the best out of any situation. So these people can make the best out of anything. Like I said, like they could come from like impoverished, they can come from any walks of life, but they probably, again, didn't have a good situation they were placed in and raised in. So they know how to make, you know, a shitty moment happy. They could probably have a little bit of sarcasm, you know, a little bit of dark humor just to get through it, right? I mean, I know I fucking do. Ain't no way I would get through this life without it. Okay, they can feel isolated, stuck in a box, or feel like they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. And they can feel like mad at the world. They can be extremely vulnerable, which they are extremely vulnerable, which is another reason why they're guarded. And they can be quite defensive when they can feel, because with Cancer, it's psychic, it's instinctual sign, it's a water sign. So they can feel when people can see through them. You know what I'm saying? Because Cancer, they're really good at looking through people too and reading people. Water energy is, you know, and their emotions. So, they can be tenacious and be temperamental. They can be reserved and to themselves, quiet, kind of doing their own thing. You know, they say you got to worry about them quiet ones, right? But not necessarily all the time. These people could just be really introverted, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people that they have shared their vulnerable self with, their truest self with, you know what I'm saying, sadly have, you know, restricted them, limited them, you know, rejected them, left them on a limb, you know. So there's a lot of suppression of love is a theme of your life and emotional connection. Probably until your first Saturn return, if you learn your lessons with people to not be so self-sacrificial, shit like that. If you define your self-worth based on who you are and what you want in this life instead of what you can do for others, you know, Saturn should reward you. Saturn, you know, this energy will be easier to work with. You know, for sure that by the time you get about 28, 30, you know what I'm saying, you could probably know who your family are for who they are at that point. You know, probably the masks will come down. So again, there's a lot of lessons around being tough, guarded, defensive, thick-skinned, being introverted. These people can be homebodies. You know, these can be the people to lock themselves in the house for like a month straight. And you know what I'm saying, like, they might seem like they're completely fine, but they ain't completely fine. But that's what makes them feel comfortable. So these people are going to be ride or die bitches to a fault. To a fault. And it's just because when they were growing up, they were raised around people that were probably, again, more on like the shitty lacquer side, you know what I'm saying, of life, you know, and compassionate. So these people are going to be, you know, self-sacrificial, you know. So these people can be very insecure and self-conscious, okay? And they can isolate themselves, again, very self-isolating. They can obsess over not repeating the same mistakes. And they can be stuck in the past, because Cancer has to do with the past. So there can be, again, a lot of past recall, you know, even if that's past life recall, because Saturn has to do with past lives, you know what I'm saying? So in this life, you could be having a lot of past life recall from your ancestors. So that means like you're having dreams, you're having past life recall. You think it's you, but it could really be, you know, of the dream of one of your ancestors. So it's important to have discernment in spirituality and in life, period. You know what I'm saying? So these people can be healing karma in this life that they've created, karma in the past life they've created, but also their ancestors' karmas, you know, or like the people that around them, specifically maybe even their mom's side, their mom's karma, their mom's family's karma can really play out a lot in their life, or it could be their father, you know, either way. So this is setting dreams aside for ones that matter to these individuals, so they can live a more fulfilled life than self-sacrificing. So it's important for these people to not set aside their dreams, to keep tunnel vision, keep focus on your dreams, keep pursuing them, not to let people get in your head, not to let self-doubt or worry get the best of you. Because, you know, and times do, things will get easier for you. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, they don't always get easier, but I'm only 22. So we can always hope for the best, right? So, mother wounds, restrictions around expressing feminine energy. So again, you know, if you had to grow up quick, you could have been put in some toxic masculine and over masculine energy, or some toxic masculine energy. So when it comes down to like relaxing, taking care of yourself, you could feel like kind of guilty and kind of weird or feel off about that, because I can totally understand that. So there can be the hardest lessons are tied in with your home life, the woman in your life, or being in touch with your emotional feminine side, which can seem very far off. Can make you feel vulnerable if you're in your girly mode. You know, if you're more on the feminine side, it can make you feel vulnerable that you're being feminine with this placement. And again, like, these people don't want to feel vulnerable because they know they are very vulnerable. And they've been vulnerable a long time, you know what I mean? So doing things for yourself can seem selfish or like you don't deserve it, but it's just not true. So these people, they're going to have to, like, tell themselves constantly. Their inner dialogue is going to be so important. So, you know, positive affirmations, talking to themselves, being positive, because your subconscious mind just manifests outside, you know, in front of us. And that's just the truth. And until we can get our subconscious programming, our subconscious wounds and scars under control, we're not going to be able to manifest the life, or we get them healed, not really under control, you know, but we're not going to be able to live the life that we really dream and want. But this is J Arius, the Aquarius, with my Relatable Revival. I hope you guys are enjoying the Saturn series. I want to thank you guys so much that, you know, who have stuck by me and supported me for this last month and a half. Thank you so much. I've been working, but I'm going to be posting a lot of videos as much as I can. If this resonates with you, please leave a like. Please leave a like or a comment. Share, subscribe if you want to. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a blessed day.